Hello, everybody. It is Badger Wild, and we are back with another Space Engineers Tips video. Today, I'm going to be talking about miners and why I build these things small. I have messed with auto miners, and this is what this is mostly going to pertain to: is the auto mining script. Most of y'all have seen how to work it. You've seen me work it. I am not computer inclined. I'm going to say that right now. I know enough to keep the system running. I do not know enough to modify things. So I know enough about this. I have seen Captain Jack's little video on it, which, Captain Jack, thank you for that video. It opened up a whole new area of space engineers for a lot of people. But since then, there's one thing that Captain Jack and others do that I tend to stay away from, and I've learned that it's really not necessary, and that is having your miner be, how do I put this, gargantuan. It's it seems like the first most logical thing to do till you realize logically how this thing works and the purpose of an auto miner. So before we get started, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you've not. I've got tons of videos. I can't tell you how many times someone new comes in, comes on the channel, hasn't subscribed yet, and says, "Hey, you should do this video." And I look over and I'm like, I have done this video. There's an entire list of stuff here. If y'all want to go take a look at it, you can just binge, and it helps the channel out. Simply y'all watching videos helps the channel so much. You have no idea. One day I've got to do a video on that. But let's get started here. And while I do this, I'm going to show some stuff off. I'm going to show a few things out. I've got some stuff inside of my deal at the moment. You can see here I've got some stone, I got some nickel inside this deal. The industrial cockpit, though, is not hooked up to the system. And that is because with the atmosphere that I'm dealing with, and I'm having to deal with gravity, I wanted to build the smallest miner possible without overexpanding. But you've got some comparisons here. Even with just the connector, I've got almost all of my storage up here. You can see that I've got 1,200 liters of storage in my personal storage. The connector holds about 1,152 liters in storage, so about 1,152. Each drill is holding 3,375 liters. So altogether, you're looking at well over, probably about, in just the miner with these three systems, I am pulling well over 5 times what I can physically carry in a single trip. Now, why is that significant? Because this comes into the logistical aspects of running auto miners. When you have a miner that doesn't require you to be on it 24/7, and I'm going to start moving some stuff around here real quick. But when you have a miner that doesn't require you to be on it all the time, you can do other things with it. You can sit back, you can send it out, make it do some stuff. You don't have to babysit it, I guess would be the thing I'm trying to say here. You can see we're taking off here real quick. And this miner works really well, as you can see. It has the weight ratios. Also, if you're going to build one of these in Atmo, don't use the new atmospheric turbines. They're great for combat vessels or scout vessels. They're not good for anything industrial. They don't have the thruster capability or the thrust weight that this has. I've got to get somebody has got to make a weight script so that we can actually do some thruster testing on some of these things, so we can see like what the actual numbers are on them. Or there is a website that does this. You can see right here, this thing is just going to go in. It's going to do its own little thing. And this is where I'm going to tell you, this is where the idea of an auto miner just works out. Because, yeah, you can build a gigantic, massive ship that goes out, hits an area, mines it real quick, and comes back. But this thing runs on its own system. It's going to run on a grid and just keep grabbing what it's got to grab as it moves around. It does not have problems. It will get into an area and then get back out. You see right here, it's grabbed a little bit of stuff. It gets it fairly quickly and then comes back. If I had the system, if I had a sorter on there, which I didn't think I had enough to pull out, yeah, Yeah, give me the teenage jokes in the comments. But if I had had enough forethought to put a sorter on here, this would be going a lot faster. I wouldn't have to somewhat babysit it. Right now we have a clog, but that's not something I'm too worried about because you can see down there we're building a new base. That's where the new stuff's going to go. But the reason why I build these things so small is, like I said, this moves 5 times the amount. If this were a space vessel, I would also have another. I'd be pulling close to almost 10 times the amount that I normally have, that I can physically carry. And that's what you need. You just need to be able to move. You need this to move more stuff than you can physically carry, but be able to do it while you're not working. So this is basically, if you had early days of space engineers, you would always have one guy dedicated to mining. That was it. He had to go out there and he had to go mine with a drill. Every survival game, you have that dedicated gatherer. Space engineers, you can automate that guy. Yes, what? I'm sorry, folks. We have to be productive here. We don't have. We can't just increase everybody's wages. We increase wages by this guy going out there and mining more stuff. We make more money, we give you more money. That's how this works. So anyway, dealing with this system here and dealing with it. So the reason I say you don't want to make big mega miners is because since I have done this, I've built mega miners, and one of the things I noticed was the resource intensity. Every time I build something, I constantly worrying about how much I am putting into that specific build. And one of the things that I can tell people right now is the intensity or the amount of resources needed to build one of these is astronomical. Especially if you build it like, well, not astronomical. If you build it in a large ship configuration, you're going to be using a whole lot. Oh, we must be getting some battery. Must be charging. I was wondering why I hadn't moved yet. So, why do I build them small? Because it's easy to replace this. You don't realize it, but to build this Atmo miner, I had to go through about 10 different iterations because gravity is a bitch. Okay. Now, that being said, by building it like this, building it small, yes, it moves less resources. And that's what the first thing people are going to say. Why would I want a small resource miner when I can have a big resource miner? Okay, Badger, just think about it. We have this big giant one. We move it in position, mega honking drill, just burrow in, grab all the resources, and get out. Okay. So here's the issue with that. One, that's a lot of PCU. So you're going to have trouble, especially if you're on console. But even if you're not on console, let's say you're a guy on PC and you have unlimited PCU, like me and Gomer have, or near unlimited PCU. We're running at like 100 million PCU, so we can still use the capture function on this. The major problem you run into with the big one is what happens when you lose it. One, it is a long time to build something like that. It's the same reason why you want one dedicated dreadnought and you want someone to build several small ships in your crew. Because when you build that one big mega ship, what ultimately happens is you've got a whole lot of resources you've got to put into that one. Whereas this, I can tell you right now, I've been trying to keep it with, the plan was to keep it minimum 2 drills or 1 drill, maximum 6 drills. We've settled on 2. Because even if I've got 1 drill going out there doing the job that I need to do, that's fine. I'm getting the job done. But we ended up with 2. Now, I have gone through about 10 iterations of this, and because they have been so small, it has taken me about 2 days to really prototype this thing out and get it into a working function. If I lose this, and I have lost this once already, it was about 10 minutes to rebuild it. Just from my head. That is not building it back. And I had all the resources I needed to do it. Building your miners smaller means you are getting the max, you are getting far more resources for less investment. If this thing makes even, if all this thing has to do is make 10 trips and it pays for itself afterward in resources, in just the steel alone. I think probably the steel alone, it probably could pay for itself in about 4 runs. It's paid for itself. That's the cool thing about having auto miners. That's the cool thing about having something that can just go in, get the job done, grab the stuff, and just go. That's all it's got to do. I'm going to throw some stuff in this collector over here. There we go. But that being resource neutral, being so resource anemic, I guess would be a good word, means that if this thing gets gone, I can replace it. If y'all remember the red ship where I had the 2 ships go in and suddenly I'm sitting there and I hear a kaboom and I go outside and I look and 2 of my miners had run into each other. It was nothing to replace them. Of course, I also had them blueprinted and they 3D printed almost instantaneously. But the fact is, it didn't cost me tons of resources to fix it. With a mega miner, even a large miner, when you lose that, the likelihood that you're going to have the resources you need, because here's the thing also, it's also numerical advantage. With a big mega miner, yes, it can go in there and it can mine a spot fairly quickly and get almost all the resources in one go. But if you lose that miner in between getting the resources to replace it, well, you're back to hand mining. That's a major setback. With this smaller miner here, I don't have to worry about that. With 1 cargo container's worth of stuff, I can probably, with what we have at base, which is just 4 small cargo containers, 1 cargo container worth of just maxed out with materials can make 2 of these easily. I have enough resources to back up. Now it's backing itself up instantaneously. Like I said, once it starts obtaining resources, and this is also scalable, because it's smaller, I can build more of them in a shorter amount of time. You can have multiple miners going out there running all sorts of stuff. Another thing also is you see with the base, when we go back, I'll show it. I'll show you the refinery. The refinery right now is stopped up with magnesium because we're still mining magnesium. I have this thing going down really deep, okay? It's just, we are really penetrating hard and long right now. I really need to put a script on here that runs, shows me how much is in it, but it's not really necessary. But like I said, you can see how this thing operates. It's just the fact that it can just keep working. It's the consistent workflow while you're doing something else. That's where the PAM script works best. And you don't need crazy ass monsters to build and make it work. You just need a miner that is effective. Okay, it's just got to be able to go get resources and bring it back. You can see this thing right here, it goes and gets resources. It keeps its power up. It doesn't leave unless the battery is fully charged. There's a lot of things that have been solved with the PAM script. And you can see right now, it's just been working. If I want to scale this up, we can go find another resource bin. The only problem I have with this particular miner is its range is not that effective. So that'd be the one thing you want with a big miner. But then at the same time, it's like you could build a medium-sized mining ship, attach 2 of these guys to it, take it out where you need it to go, park it, and just let these guys go to town on whatever resources that are there. And when they get done, you just get the ship, fly it back over, and you're done with it. The cool part about this is you can just fly it out there, have a small little landing pad on the back of it for a small ship to fly back from, or a jump drive. Especially now, since we've got small ship jump drives, that's a perfect thing to use small ship jump drives for. Would be to jump from one position to the next. So go find those small ship jump drives and get those Prototech. Prototech is going to make mining a whole lot more efficient. What I would probably do is I'd probably just build like a small mining ship with maybe 2 types of 2 cargo containers, maybe one of the big large ones, and enough ability to move all of that. And then just have a landing pad for a long range fighter type ship or small shuttle, and then have enough room for maybe anywhere between 2 minimum, 4 max, or 6 maximum small miners. Really, I think you're only going to need about 4 because the miners do a pretty good job of mining. You see right here, I've got all this stone and everything. It just keeps coming in here. We're going to make a whole lot of room real quick because I need iron and stuff. But, like I said, with the... If you have the ability to run this and put all this together... Let's see how much goes through here. There we are. If you look through, you can just see all the stuff that can just be fixed real quick with it. Like I said, the smaller these things are, the easier they are to replace. And that's what you've got to worry about when you're building miners. When you build something that's automated. How fast can I replace it? How much can it move? And you've got to find a healthy balance. This right now seems to be a pretty good balance for what we're doing. And if I need another, I can just build another one. And another, and another, and another. I can have each one of these things running and getting a specific resource from a specific area. And I plan on probably spacing them out on the base enough to where they don't interfere with each other's flight paths that much. Because the PAM script doesn't, unlike the automation script, the automation blocks, the PAM script does not have a whole lot of self-awareness. It's not a missile, okay? It doesn't know where it is because it doesn't know where it's not, and it doesn't know where everything else is. It just kind of does its own thing, and it runs on basically a recorded path. That's how the PAM script works. But yeah, that is how you would be building a couple of these things. If you're wanting to build one of these, that is something I would consider. A small miner is more than capable of getting it. Like I said, it's consistency. That's where you're getting out of this. You're having streams of resources coming in instead of one big geyser of resources every so often. Also, that's another thing. When you've got multiple miners coming in pulling resources, they're also pulling everything else in the area that you could possibly want. Turn this over here so we can get a good, nice shot of the lake here. But this miner just, like I said, it does its job very efficiently. It's small, it's compact, and if this thing gets blown up, I'm out a couple liters of resources. I'm out probably 1,000 liters of resources. That's it. I can probably take everything that I got. I can probably put this back together. We're talking probably 7 trips with my character to get resources. This thing probably can pay for itself within just 2 or 3. And right now, the amount of nickel and stuff that it's gotten, it's already paid for the batteries, everything that's there. So my batteries are all paid for. As soon as I find some cobalt and I can build another one of these, that one will pay for all the cobalt that's in the metal grids and stuff that goes into this. Like I said, the metal, the steel, the silicone, all the resources I need to build this thing with have already been built. I've already basically gotten a lot of them back, except for the metal grids. I have to find some cobalt to get out of that. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoyed the concept of a mini miner and probably making them in a more micro fashion. Like I said, you got to look at these as like worker bees. They've got to just be like a bee. Think more like ant colony or beehive, and don't think lion just devouring things. You don't need a battleship to go mine things with. You probably need to be as quick and efficient as possible. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, I am Badger Wild saying stay safe, stay frosty, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.